Hey guys, it is Spooky Noodles, and I am here with a book tag. I know, weird location, I'm sorry about that. I hurt my back, so I'm just laying down on my bed right now, and I didn't even feel like going and grabbing the books I might talk about, so I apologize. And I totally didn't look up that much information, I just really quickly wrote a bunch of answers, and now I'm here to answer the questions. So the book tag is called, um, what was it called? The I Am the Reader book tag. I am the reader book tag. So let's just hop into it, shall we? So, first question. Choose one word that describes being a reader. So let's see here. I would say reading. I know, don't laugh. I probably everyone chooses this, but yeah, I just see when you think reader, you think someone who reads books. So reading. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the answer or the question. Maybe the question's going straight over my head. I don't know. But that's what the word I thought. So next question. What's the very first book you fell in love with? So this one is a hard question. But I'm going to go with Flowers for Algernon. Who is that by? I don't remember who it's by. I used to know by heart who it was by, but it's not coming to me at the moment. But Flowers for Algernon is a really good book. It really opened up my mind to special needs. I used to be probably the most inappropriate person you'd ever meet. I was in special ed, and I kept calling everyone around me names, and I hated people with special needs. And when I read Flowers for Algernon, it changed me. It made me a better person, and maybe a little too good of a person at the time. I became a little bit too, guarded with certain words and phrases people would use, and I became like, I don't want to say a social justice warrior in a sense, but kind of borderline that. I hated the R word. I hated the G word, or I didn't hate the G word, but I hated the way people used gay, and the R word being retarded, or retard. I just did not like the way people use these words, and I thought of them as special needs words, and I didn't like people messing around with special needs people because they're just people just like us. And that's what Flowers for Algernon did for me. It taught me that people with special needs are just people. They're not lower beings, as I thought they were when I was in school. I saw these people in my special ed class and thought, these kids are stupid. Why am I in the class with these people? But yeah, the Flowers for Algernon book really opened up my eyes, and it told me I totally changed lenses. Like I see things through a different light now, different prism, if you will, and yeah. So next is hardcover or paperback. My answer is paperback. I like hardcovers, but to me they're too hard to keep well, if you know what I mean. Like, they take a lot of work to just, like, the dust jackets get dusty, they rip, they tear, and you gotta take the dust jackets off to read the book, and then no one can see what you're reading, and then people ask you what you're reading, and then that causes problems. So I just overall like paperbacks better. Plus they fit in my hand easier. I can hold it, like I can like read the book easier. It's hard to explain how. I have big hands, and even though reading a hardback is not that hard for me, it's not that hard for me. I still like the feel of a paperback in my hand. I almost palm the paperback as I flip the pages with the other hand. But yeah, paperback. How has reading shaped your identity? So, I'm not really sure how it has shaped me as a person. I feel like I'm learning more and becoming a better writer through reading. But as a person, I'm not really sure if I've changed at all. I've only been reading for like 2 years now, so I'm not sure if it's really affected me that much. Yeah. Let's continue to the next question. What book do you read when you need to be comforted? So this is gonna sound weird because I always talk about how much this book made me cry, but it was like a really good book, and every time I either lose a loved one or I feel suicidal, I kind of want to read this book. And the book is called Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. Um, Monster Calls is just a wonderful book. If you haven't read it, just go read it. So basically, I didn't tell you what Flowers for Algernon was. I should have done that, but I just told you what it did for me. I'll tell you what it. Well, I told you what Monster Calls did for me, but I want to talk about a little bit more about what it is. So basically, this boy is going through a lot of troubles. His mom has cancer, and she's becoming too sick to take care of him. His dad's back from America and might take him away. He might go live with his aunt. And these are all ifs if his mother dies, which she is looking grim and not looking well. And all at the same time, he's getting bullied by this kid at school. His aunt she's not the meanest person, but she's not the easiest to get along with either. And then his father, he has mixed feelings about. So all this stress is coming down on him, and he needs relief through friendship, which he has no friends. Well, he does meet one friend, but that's another story. He befriends this monster who is disguised as a tree. And the monster tells him 3 stories, which basically helps him through his grief. And at the end of the story, you know, the all-powerful monster can't even stop death, and it's a really sad story. It just beats you down and makes you cry and makes you realize how special life is, you know. When I'm suicidal, I tend to forget how special life is, especially when you think about the people who lost it so early on, you know. And yeah, I had cancer too, so it also affects me in a way that is hard to explain. But I really liked Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. It's one of my favorite books of all time. When I talk about horror, I talk about my favorite horror books. Like every time I do my top 5s, anything, I always think about horror. But if I were to do just my favorite literature classics or something like that, that book would probably be number 1. So let's go on to the next question. Who taught you to read? I did it by my own, on myself, blah, blah, blah. I did it all by myself, all on my own. I mean, of course, my mom taught me how to read, but, and schools elaborated on that, but, overall, maybe I'd give it to my teacher, Miss Arsenal, who tried to beat me with a Bible in class once, but, nah. So let's go to the next question. Describe your dream reading lounge. So I wrote this down. I guess it would be a really quiet room with a bunch of comfy chairs, couches, and beds. Also, lots of books and bookshelves. And then the last question. What book changed the way you act or see the world? And I already kind of talked about this. Both books, Flowers for Algernon and A Monster Calls, did it for me. They changed the way I saw things. Good or bad, it happened. I went with A Monster Calls, showed me that I can feel and to accept life as how it is, because life is short and not a lot of people get to live it fully. And it taught me how to handle grief, and it's a special book. I recommend going and buying it and reading it if you can, or getting it at your local library. I know you can't do that now, but yeah. But that has been the tag, the I am the reader book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was a really quick video, 10 minutes long. My battery is running low, so I gotta wrap this up quick. I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you have a spooky night. I'll catch you in the next video. I hope you like the tag, guys. Bye, guys.
Now I am become death.